Since the beginning of science and exploration, many people have questioned the complex facts of existence, humanity's existence, Earth's existence, and even existence in space. Many times we have to stop and think about how small humans truly are. More specifically, how small our discoveries have been about these topics. As of 2021, more than 80% of the Earth's ocean is unexplored, unmapped, and unobserved. The deepest discovered point of the ocean is called Challenger's Deep in the Mariana Trench. Although its environment is extremely dangerous and toxic, an entire environment is able to flourish. This discovery was contrary to our common belief that life could not live where the sun doesn't shine. Today, I'd like to give you some facts about the Mariana Trench and how its existence defies our common knowledge of Earth. Although humans have not been able to discover 100% of Earth, it helps to learn about the vast environments and species that we share this planet with. I'm going to talk about the historic discovery of the Mariana Trench, the formation of the trench, and the extraterrestrial creatures from the abyss. So starting in 1875, Mariana Trench was discovered by the HMS Challenger when they casted a weighted line into the water and found that they needed more rope to reach the bottom. 80 years later, in 1960, Jacques Piccard and Don Walsh boarded a submersible vehicle called the Trieste. The two rode about 10,994 meters into the ocean, where water pressure is 1,000 times more greater than that sea level. Without the proper gear, the rising pressure would feel like you're being stomped by a herd of elephants. At least underwater, this process would only take about a few seconds. This descent took nearly 5 hours, but the two could only spend 20 minutes underwater due to the dangerous rising pressure. Now, even though very few humans have reached the Mariana Trench, we have already left our footprint. Evidence of pesticides dumped in the oceans around the 1970s have been traced into microorganisms living in the abyss, as well as numerous amounts of trash, waste that have made its way down over time. So how could such an uninhibited area already be taken over by human nature? Since its discovery, scientists have found that plastic, trash, rubber, metal, and other materials have made its way into the trench. Now into my second topic, the formation of the trench. In the Pacific Ocean, off the coast of Guam, the Mariana Trench sits 7 miles below sea level. So if you place Mount Everest at the deepest part of the trench, it would be 7,000 feet below sea level. A process called subduction is actually attributed to the trench's creation. Subduction is a geological process that takes place when the edge of a tectonic plate moves under another one and forces it to sink due to the mantle's high gravity. Then sulfur and liquid carbon dioxide is allowed to rise to the nearby volcanoes near the trench, and that formed the Mariana Islands. At its deepest point, the abyss features many black, ashy rocks formed by magma, which is now known as the Hadal Zone. This is named after the ancient Greek underworld known as Hades. This name is actually super fitting for a dark, freezing, acidic abyss that challenges all of its inhabitants. For years, this area was deemed uninhabitable for any life. Due to the trench's geography, researchers pose a theory that by learning more about the Mariana Trench, we could have a better understanding of earthquakes and tsunamis that occur around the Pacific. The dominator of the Marianas food chain is a fish known as the Mariana snailfish. This apex predator is relatively smaller than most that we know today. It is the deepest dwelling fish ever discovered and inhabits the depths below 26,600 feet. Because of their deep habitat, these creatures live without fear of predation. Like most fish in this environment, the Mariana snailfish is a pale and tadpole-like creature that grows to about 11.3 inches in standard length, and it feeds on tiny crustaceans in the deep water. In order to survive with such a small diet, the fish has extra genes for repairing its DNA and making a chemical that stabilizes its proteins. Due to the lack of light in the trench, most of the sea creatures have no pigment or eyesight. Amphipods are also found at the bottom of the trench, and they survive by using aluminum in their armor. This species looks like a large shrimp, and they actually feed off of sunken wood that's believed to be from shipwrecks that have fell over time. So in conclusion, the Mariana Trench is one of the steepest parts of the ocean, and is actually one of many that we're trying to investigate now. Our toxic waste has seemingly helped some of the creatures, and it's surprising to find a whole new world under the ocean.